and it isn't like I built it on a budget. It's just like, use what you have first. You know, what's right in front of me? Well, look what I can do with that, you know.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to our next video. Today we get to talk to Kenny here. Kenny, thank you so much for talking with us today.
Thank you for coming over.
So I noticed I was working the parking at a festival we're at right now, which is Chasm Fest. And I was working the parking and I saw him drive by and I said, I want to see the inside of this rig. Thank you for opening your home to us.
Well, thank you, Brian. Appreciate your time.
Yeah. And so you're not full-time on the road, is that correct?
No, I am not. I have a house in Kansas and I have family all over the place. And so I spent 4 months out here last year, maybe 5 on the road. And so.
Okay, so 4 or 5 months, that's almost half a year.
No, exactly. And it, and it was plenty of time out there to really feel it and enjoy the experience.
So the rig that you have behind you, how long have you been in it?
Well, actually, I finished it up almost exactly. I decided it must be 4 years ago now. I was in Kansas. I drove it out to Arizona without too many things that, I mean, certainly a lot to worry about, but everything went fine.
Yeah, good.
But
your maiden voyage.
My maiden voyage. And I learned a lot along the way, but in fact, it was fine. It ran fine, it did fine.
Had you been in other rigs before, or had you grown up camping? What inspired you to buy this or to do this?
My family traveled. We would take a month-long vacation every summer. We did the World's Fairs. We'd do Colorado Springs. I got to Washington, Oregon. We went to Seattle, just
traveled a lot.
Traveled, but just like 1 month of the year, just committed to that. The rest of the time, small town Kansas. What got me into it was, I knew I liked to travel, and we used to get we took our kids out a lot. So when I retired, I knew the first thing I wanted to do, I built a little foam camper, put it on the back of I built it so it could be on my truck or on the trailer, and I pulled it around, all over the place for one summer. Then I realized next spring I wanted to build this thing. I just built the box for it, and I put it on a trailer. I had a trailer, put it on the trailer, and then it just was wonky. I didn't like it, so I went out in the camper again. So then I found the RV, and well.
So did you build the box for it before the RV?
Yes.
And then modded it so that you could fit it on?
Right.
That's brilliant.
It was. I saw this old ratty RV at the side of the road, and it didn't take me half a second to go, oh my God, there's the answer.
That is perfect.
And cut down tore everything off of it in like a day because it was so rotten.
Okay.
Cut down the frame, rebuilt side structural parts, and then, and then picked up the box off the trailer and backed it, I built the whole front part. Yeah. And then just backed them together and dropped it. It was fun.
And so you talk about your ratty old RV. What year, make, model, what is it?
So it is a 1976 Dodge. It's got the 360 motor in it. Of course, it's carbureted, the old 3-speed transmission.
I can relate to that.
Yes.
Yep, I have a GMC version of almost the same thing.
It's 24 foot, I think, the way it sits right now.
That is right now, okay.
It might be 25, I don't know.
That's perfect though, because that's almost enough to fit in a parking spot.
And you can just generally find a place you can just lay across too. So yeah. I wouldn't want anything really any bigger. It's
That's a perfect length. Mine is 23 feet, so I can relate to it. I think it's a great, I don't want to go any bigger than that either because I like fitting in parking spots. You bought the RV and then you built it out. What do you think, all in, do you think you invested in this?
Well, really, it's kind of funny because, well, if you don't count my time, no.
Yep, we won't count your time.
And I'll just have to show you all the stuff that came from my family, from the house, from the restore, that I already had. And so when I say, well, I started out and built for $2,000 that back box, everything on it, and all the way around, everything, wrapped it in canvas, and then I built the front part for like $1,500, but then I bought the rig for like $1,500, which is probably more than it might have been worth, but it's been so reliable that I decided that's okay. And so before solar, well, then you add, so $1,200 tires, and you add solar panels, which I bought at Santan, so they weren't that expensive. Controllers, a couple lithium batteries is like probably worth more than the rest of the So I got less than $10,000, or did have probably somewhere. If you just added everything up, but all kinds of previously existing materials. So
yeah, so you did a lot of the existing materials, going to restores, like Habitat for Humanity restores.
Oh yes, a lot of restore stuff.
Okay.
Oh yes.
Well, that's a good segue into, let's just go ahead and do a tour. Are you good with that?
Oh, absolutely.
All right, let's go.
These people have heard enough from me already. Welcome to my home.
Oh wow. This is gorgeous in here.
Well, thank you. A lot of stuff that it just came from, matter of fact, I can't think of anything I bought new. Except fiberglass reinforced plastic. That's it.
All right.
That's it. So, I got access to the cab, right? The whole thing folds up, right?
Oh, yeah.
And it locks against here and it creates a little shelf. There's a little hook on here. The cab is right there. Projector I can mount up there. And then I've got this old map that becomes a projector screen.
Oh, on the back side of it.
And so on the back side I got a projector screen, and it's the perfect like shot length for it. Can barely keep my feet out of the picture. If I was really to tell you how much of this I didn't plan on, it would be, that would put that in front of every sentence I say. Yeah. Here's something else I didn't plan on. This is a table that my grandmother had. It was like a stand-up table. It's something neat that it was like carved in Tahiti or something. And so I made my own luau table out of a 1-inch iron. But then I don't know that I planned that it would, if I spaced it just right, it'd lock right in there into that door, and it's the same height and the same length. I don't think I planned that, as I remember.
And so with that, the swivel system, you just built that yourself on?
This is just like 1-inch iron, standard iron pipe.
Oh, and you just made it so it swivels.
And put two of these, these pipe end things, and they just left them just tight enough. You can always turn it at one more level tightness.
Yeah.
So it's a little tight.
So you're just using the threads as they swivel?
Yeah, the threads just tighten up enough.
Now, your bed, what kind of mattress do you have?
I have just got 2 pieces of foam that were laying around. High density foam underneath the cushy foam.
But it's comfortable to sleep in?
Oh yeah, it's fine. I mean, it's 6'6" this way, laying there very comfortably. Of course, everybody has a ceiling fan. But my ceiling fan kind of demonstrates the fact that you take this is only 1.5 inch pink styrofoam, and you glue fiberglass reinforced plastic to the inside of it to make the ceiling, to make the walls. And then actually I ended up just cutting this out to fit the fan, but it turned out the scrap piece fits right back in there.
That's great.
Yeah, so I didn't, oh wait, did I plan on that? Oh no. This picnic basket is something that my grandmother had in her basement for sure, probably 100 years ago, was out doing picnics in it. And now it's the nicest little dirty clothes hamper a person would ever need.
And that's good that you're bringing these heirlooms into your place.
Yeah, and it's good because they were just there, Yeah. This is an oscilloscope, and it just basically was used by electrical engineers from way back in the day. But I think it's a classic piece of art from the time. And actually my battery monitor's right there.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And then actually I found an old voltmeter there actually does measure the voltage on my panels.
Okay. This
measures the voltage of my batteries. But then it also hides the actual, meter. And because this was awful bright at night.
And it just looks cool.
This is of course my towel rack. It usually sits over here, but then I can swing it right here and I can give myself some privacy at night. Over here, I can pull out my entire closet.
Oh wow!
Here comes the shower, and these towels pull out on under counter towel racks, so that I've got more space. I got plenty of space in here. My own homemade composting toilet.
Oh!
It is actually vented out the back. It also has a 5-gallon bucket under, and then a 5-gallon bucket lid on top. Moss, and I have a lid for it, but I don't need it with the vent fan. I'm working on a urine diverter. I got a little plastic tank here in the front I'm working on, but I have found the perfect place for a toilet paper dispenser. Now, wouldn't you think somebody would have thought of putting it right there where your hands are anyway?
Yeah.
That's what happened, because it was kind of like broken in here. And
so you just used a tub.
It's an old roll-around toolbox. It's one of those Craftsman roll-around toolboxes. It has the handle that popped up on the back. It was broke off. The wheels were kind of broke off. Because it's vented out the back in the air, it wouldn't differ from a $1,000 model as far as I can tell functionally.
What do you think it cost you to put this together?
Nothing.
Yeah, because you got all the.
I had this lid just laying around for, I thought I might use it, so I did actually end up buying it. This was in my sister's garage, and a computer fan, which I already had from salvaging a little piece of plastic pipe that goes from there out into that.
Now, do you also shower in here or no?
Oh yeah, no. So I've got an instant propane water heater, cold running water. I have 1,100 watts of solar.
Wow, that's a lot of solar.
Well, I bought those at Santan. I had some 240 watt ones from them. I had some 310 watt panels. So I bought 2 Battleborn 100 amp hour, 12 volt batteries. I'm in series, so actually I'm running a 24 volt system.
Oh.
So my 3,000 watt inverter is 24 volts, and my refrigerator is 24 volts. And then I got a little tiny 12-volt thing for the little tiny lights and everything, runs everything else. Right to the fuse box, I ran a few wires around and ta-da! This little tiny antique hinge that locks behind this weird little thing I have here, so that in fact, you know, you can pop that out and open it, and then after you close it, you know, you don't have to worry about it again.
Yeah.
Until you want to lock it back down.
For travel.
For travel. Because stuff does
wants to jump out.
Fall out.
Of course.
Not too badly.
No. So you have good storage under here, it looks like?
That's canned goods, mostly just odds and ends. And then I've got canned goods up inside of here. And this is a little tray that my grandmother had brought back from California back in the day. It just fit over this hole because the sink used to be there. And now I've got a whole bunch more storage in there that I don't need. The drawers, the way they made them, you know, lock in kind of. Well, I do have a 3, like everybody. Also have an air conditioner. It's just a standard window unit. It's a 5,000 BTU. And it was very convenient for, I mean, I can run it on my 1100 watts of solar and 2 batteries for a while into the night.
So you have propane in your rig as well?
Just for those 2 things, my instant water heater and my Wave 3.
Do you use your microwave very often?
Rarely, if at all. Actually, what I've got is an induction cooktop, and it fits right into this neat little drawer. On induction, this part doesn't get hot. The pan gets hot, so I can put a pretty big pan on here, much as I want to try to cook. But then I keep my pots and pans in these other drawers.
Oh, and that just goes down.
And that drops down, and I've got one air shock thingy on it, so it'll stay up, you know, when I'm not using it. But then I just added this for convenience for travel. Normally it doesn't matter.
Just a little pin that goes
over. Just a little sliding thing. These drawers and that one back there came out of this box that had been in my sister's attic for like 30-something years, and turned out to be just practically the exact size, and it'll slide out, but just to actually not just practically the exact size to put a refrigerator in. I don't know if I even bought it because it was the right size to fit in this box, or I found the box after I got it.
Just a happy circumstance.
And it just fit so perfectly. People that really, I just found these glass doors at the Restore, and then everything else just sort of like developed and built itself around them. Like I said, the windows are from the Restore, the sink's from the Restore, the microwave, the refrigerator. It's a cedar chest. It's actually something my great-grandfather had built for my grandmother. And so I can't open it all the way because of the cushions. But it holds my batteries, my controllers. People worry about, I got a fan down there to help keep my inverter cool, everything, all that, you know, and then just tools. This is a checkerboard that was in my grandmother's basement, I remember, from when I was 6 years old. It sits up there if I were a checker player, but it's a nice little end table. This is my sticker from the Bring Your Own Vehicle fall of 2022. I just came back from Pahrump and had the best time.
Oh, excellent.
With a bunch of cool people.
Well, thank you for volunteering your time and hanging out with those guys.
No, don't thank me. That, you know, it's like, is there something I can do that would be more fun than that? I don't know if I can even think of what it is. So I got these little O-rings I just hook underneath there, and they latch onto here and hold this thing shut. And that just makes me happy.
All right, so that's quite a deck you have here. So tell me how you built that.
I created a fold-down deck. You can't see the hinges on there, but then I was going to create an aerodynamic front. So this actually folds down. I mean, these legs just come right out of there.
Oh.
And they fold over each other. Top part folds down, and there's clamps on the side, so I added a lot of structural side-by-side stability, because on the back I always thought it was going to wiggle around.
Yeah.
And then this folds up, and I can clamp it onto the sides, and it really feels structurally significantly enhanced.
What's your rig made of?
Basically, it's styrofoam glued together with Gorilla Glue, Great Stuff Foam, and like Cool Whip. No, Great Stuff Foam. And so this is 1/8" flooring boards that were like mahogany. And so this is glued flat onto 2-inch XPS styrofoam. It's covered with like marine grade urethane, so that it turned into almost like a piece of plastic. This is some stuff I found, and I had these around for 30 years at least before and had enough left over to do that. That's boards from the Restore. That's just wainscoting. It came out of somebody's kitchen. And it's only a 1/4 inch thick, and it's glued straight to the styrofoam. Well, actually, it's glued to the canvas, because the whole top is wrapped in canvas, and it's glued on and painted down. and then those are stuck on there. And then the cedar boards are the only structure. I got a 1x2 there and a 1x2 there.
So no internal frame, just all.
No, that's a sheet. That's a sheet of styrofoam.
Oh. So it's well insulated.
Well, yeah, except that, like I said, the doors leak a lot of air. But other than that, it works pretty well. I got a bunch of pieces from an old Murphy bed, one of those that folds down in the front. That was a piece of the side of it that was already cut out just like that. This is a piece from the front top of it. This is a $5 door from the Restore, of course.
All right.
So this one actually is a bifolding door. And so I made it, and it wasn't just, it's because it was what they had for $5. But then I can actually fold it like that and lock it in there so it doesn't blow around in the wind. I just found that in California last year, and I've been you wait till the right thing just shows up. Now I actually did buy that at a little, garden shop.
Okay.
In fact, it's nice to have an instant propane water heater, kind of getting it balanced and getting it set the way you want it to be.
Okay.
And so 2 propane tanks, my water pump, my water tank's underneath this part of that same Murphy bed. And I fill my water right in, I got a little hole right there.
All right.
To fill up the tank.
So Kenny, thank you so much for showing us that very unique, interesting build, all out of recycled material. You really spent very little money on the build itself. That's amazing.
And it isn't like I built it on a budget. It's just like, use what you have first. I mean, I'm kind of a minimalist in a lot of ways. My whole thought process rolls around, what's right in front of me? Well, look what I can do with that. A lot of things, like you say, I just found it.
Mm-hmm.
I just
and you repurposed it.
And eventually. I didn't even know necessarily what I was going to do with it when I bought something for $5.
What did you think? Like, can you imagine taking an old motorhome and building something like this? Could I do it with my old motorhome? I'm not sure if I'm ready for that step yet. If you guys got something out of today's video, please go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Give us that big thumbs up. And until next time, we'll see you guys all down the road. Bye, guys.